Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Oh, good. My camera's working. It was giving me, it was one of those where my way too expensive webcam was giving me the business right before I was about to go live, and now, at least for now, it's working. So, yeah. Let me know if everything sounds and looks good on your end. Think everything's going well. What's up, Pudgy, Jay Dandy, Patrick, Blackball, Large, Dylan, what's up? JMZ, good to have you guys. Did I miss any of those names? I always feel like I have to say them twice because I might miss them. Uh, I said what's up to Patrick, right? Yeah. I have a Mad Tree Huevo stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. I think, excuse me, uh, Stone started this trend with their, Zocaveza, and now I see a lot of breweries doing it. Some I really like, some I don't. Surprisingly, the one of my favorite breweries here locally, Magic City did. I don't think I remembered liking theirs too much, but probably because my fro scared it. Yeah, I know it is in the winter. It's like I mean, I always wear hats. Well, either stocking hats or caps, cycling caps. But in the winter, yeah, I really feel like I don't need to cut my hair, or as you could tell, shave. I even haven't shaved the high cheek stuff lately. I look like a real early 70s hippie right now, huh? What's up, Rick? Man, we are getting the trolls early. Hey, how's it going, Raymond? Good to have you along. This one's good. It's got a little bit of spice. It's like a chocolatey stout with just like a little bit of spicy finish. I really like it. I do need a shave. I hate when I start getting stuff in my mustache. But man, the trolls are out. Oh, Rick, you said you started wearing a wool hat to bed. Huh. It's funny because I actually, what I've started doing getting into bed is I'll like have like my long johns on and still my wool like base layer and sometimes my cap. And then I like have my boxers and t-shirt and when I'm actually going to sleep and outside the cover because I usually do some Duolingo, like the language learning app, some Instagram scrolling. Like I usually get in bed like a good half an hour before I'm actually even going to try and fall asleep, and so I like get in bed all comfortable and then like change under the covers now. But yeah, do you think the trolls are like they've got to be automated bots? There can't be like, or is there just some warehouse in the Far East where there's people like logging into every live stream and typing that stuff out? I'm sure they could write some kind of script that probably just runs on software. Are you going full dry January, Pudgy, or are you going just as long as you can? I've never done dry January. Like, I know that's like dry January is kind of a thing. I've definitely done like March and February are the months I've picked. Because, like, right after depending on when the holidays fall, I find that it's already a hard start to like get up on New Year's. So, like, whenever I've done a dry month, I always like wait like a month or two after like that season. Plus, winter in Ohio, it's really hard not to drink in winter in Ohio. It's actually easier for me like March and the weather's changing and you're going outside and stuff. I find that to be a little easier, but have to pay the troll toll. See what everyone else was drinking tonight. I saw a couple posted. JMZ posted. Let me get. I changed a little of my settings, so it might take me a minute to get used to where my stuff is. Oh, there we go. Oh, JMZ, you're drinking Athletic Brewing. They have been their ads are showing up in like all when I watch YouTube, all their ads are showing up. They're how is that? Like people say it's really I've heard that it tastes like has a very good beer flavor. Like it doesn't have like how the hops are good and everything like that. I haven't tried it. I think when they had a spot where me and Large were in Connecticut. Raymond's got the Puff Puff, which is that's a great beer. 9.8. That's what we started with some like 10% beers on Funny Brad's birthday at like noon before we ate, and that led to a very not dry day out on the bikes. Pudgy, you said not sure yet. Last time you did this, you went a year and 9 months without drinking. Nice. Oh, St. Patty's Day. You're right. I think I timed it J Dandy, so I actually started in February, and so I went a full month. And St. Patrick's Day was the day that I could uh, have my first drink, which obviously was a terrible way to time something because you haven't drank for a month and then you drink on St. Patrick's Day and get completely obliterated. So, well, I'm not speaking for the rest of you, but I think my reputation precedes itself. Patrick said, need an emoji for one of those troll pencil toppers with the hair. Do they have those? Hey, what's up, Dimitri? Who's drunker, Ohio or New England? Huh. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you take, I mean, I'm not going to put anyone up against Boston, right? But New England in general, I think Ohio per capita always ranks as one of the hardest drinking states. Um, there used to be all kinds of jokes about that. Well, of course there is. There's nothing to do there, which I don't really agree with. But winters are interesting. Oh, Pudgy, you already won your bet. That's right. You had a bet going on, so you could drink whenever you want. Rick, good answer. So I'm reading. Is that pronounced Ronil? Ronel? Uh, if you want to phonetically spell that your name for me, but Cabrera, I would guess is the last name. It's easier for me to say. But what classic bike tech do I like the most? Huh. That's an interesting question. I do like Rick's answer of the three by because I do have some three bys that I like, but I don't think the three by is what I like the most because I am pretty satisfied with a two by. If I had the option, if I was given two Shimano 105 group sets and I have a number of them, I have one sitting actually right next to me. This is 2 by 9 Shimano 105. I would still probably take the 2 by, but that doesn't count. Like what's a good retro tech thing that I really like? Well, I don't know what it depends on how you define tech, but I would say like the way the vintage chain rings look compared to the modern chain rings. Bikes look so much better, and it's a big reason I like 9-speed stuff for the Pudgy's favorite term, the Neo Retro build, is because of that. The spider and the chain rings, they just look so much cooler to me. Like I do not like the modern any of them, SRAM, Campy, or Shimano. I really like the look of these, and same with the derailleurs. Like I just really like the derailleurs being like chromed out like that. So I guess that's kind of a cop out. That's not really a piece of tech. That's kind of an aesthetic decision. I guess at this point I could say for my favorite piece of retro tech is rim brakes because I just good rim brakes still work really well. I they just everyone's acting and I've talked about this before like you can't stop your bike with rim brakes. They've been descending mountains in the Tour de France and all other races all over Europe for you know 100 years before the disc brake was invented just fine. Well, not just fine, but now especially since what whenever dual pivot brakes came out, which I wouldn't know the year, but you know, what 90s? Good rim brakes, I think, are my favorite piece of retro tech. They're so easy to work on. So Jay Dandy says friction shifters. You know, I would have said that for a long time, but you know, like even sitting here, like this great 80s bike, uh, early 80s bike, I believe, like an 82, 81 probably. Even putting my drifters, like 9 speed drifters on it, are really nice. I mean, obviously a little more work to set up, but these older 9 speed systems aren't really that hard to set up, so they're pretty easy to index. The modern ones, 11 speed Shimano, the latest iteration, like I literally let the shop work on it. I know like Dylan's really good at working on that stuff, and so are some other people. But yeah, I definitely that's another reason I like 9 speed. But yeah, I do still ride friction. You know, I went out and did one of the Festive 500 rides on the Peugeot, but Tim likes original SRAM one by the most. Pudgy said biopace. Oh yeah, I guess if you Rick, you're to your point, if you call a Brooks B17 saddle RetroTech, I mean, this is a French version I picked up at uh, Nutmeg, an Ideale. I believe it's probably actually in the French pronounced Ideale, but yeah, a good leather saddle. I think you're right, Rick. A good leather saddle would be my favorite piece of retro tech because I have them on all the bikes I ride a lot, and I think I'm actually going to put it on this bike too. This bike's up here. I'm making a video about it tomorrow. Oh, back to the beer. JMZ said the hazy from Athletic Brewing is amazing. Huh. I should pick some of those up because half the time, like sometimes I like to have a buzz. Sometimes I really just want beer. Last night I made myself a glass of tea just to drink something because it's just like I like that habit. So I should try some of that. I should pick some of the Athletic Brewing up. But and Dimitri said, talking about rim brakes, he saw Safa Bryan stop from going 100 kilometers an hour on rim brakes. Exactly. The disc brakes have a ton of benefits. I'm not anti disc brakes. I like how easy rim brakes are to set up. To me, the main negative of the rim brake is that they wear out your rims. If you have a cool wheel set, you know, eventually your rim brakes are going to ruin the wheel set. Where when I got like my Velocity Aerons on my um, gravel bike, the brakes are never going to wear out those rims. So, yeah. Oh, Pudgy said he's going to put Paul Neo Retro Canties on the Fat Chance. Nice. I was just, someone just posted some really cool side pole Paul brakes. Blue Lug, maybe, or someone was posting it, um, that Blue Lug had built a bike with really cool looking Paul side pole brakes, which I hadn't seen before. And I was thinking to myself, what do those cost? Because I would love to put those on some of my bikes. But oh, Dimitri, I didn't see your comment before I said exactly what you said. A lot of people complain that they destroy the wheels. Now, I just hear a lot of people like now, and I think, and here I go on my like grandpa thing, like my old curmudgeon thing about like, but it seems like a lot of younger people that just didn't ride bikes with rim brakes are like acting like it's the, I don't know, a rotary telephone. You know, I don't know, compared to a smartphone. It's definitely not. Like I said, I have a 9 speed era Dur Ace brakes on my Schwinn Peloton, and those are brakes that you could lock up. You have modulation. They're really good brakes, and those aren't even the best rim brakes because once after dual pivot, what do they call those? The direct mount brakes, which I've never ridden, but I assume are even better technology, right, for the rim brake. So yeah. Pudgy grip shift. Grip shift. Ronil, yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it. I like that's a great topic to talk about for me because I'm standing here looking at a wall full of vintage bicycles. But Pudgy said grip shift, which is, man. I remember I had one of my first friend had grip shift, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then it didn't take me real long to realize, like, if I'm mountain biking, like, and back then mountain biking meant poaching hiking trails around here, anyways, in Northeast Ohio. Like, you're gonna want your hands there, and like you're gonna yeah, accidentally shift gears. And I remember another friend got like what Shimano's early rapid fire was called, and I still had uh, my old Huffy that I've showed on this, the Mountain Storm, and I was which had like horrible like piece of total garbage friction, really garbage friction shifting, and just cheap, just a really cheap bike, obviously, at a Huffy. But and I was like, I can't wait till the day where I can afford these rapid fire shifters. So, yeah, yeah, isn't that saddle sweet? Look, Rick, we were talking about saddle loops. Look how they are built into this one. When I moved it that way, it wasn't quite focusing as well. Let's see if I can get it to do it. But yeah, isn't that sweet how the saddle loops are kind of the leather actually goes around them? But yeah, and then it's got like the imprints. Yonda actually told me the saddle was super dry. I've connected with the guy on Instagram that I actually bought it off of at Nutmeg, but it was really dried out. And Yonda told me to to cover it. I've been proofhiding it, trying to get that to sink in. He told me to turn my oven on real low and slather it in the proofhide, like lowest the oven will go with the door open. Instead, I have a hot water radiant heat here, and it's been so cold that the radiator is getting hot, and I leave my bathroom door closed because my radiator knocks. Whatever, long story. I set it on the radiator and slathered it in the uh, proofhide, and that has actually softened up the leather like a nice bit and got some moisture into it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to riding it. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. I just love the idea. I love the B17s, but it's kind of cool to have something like a little more unique. And then this being, I think it's from the research I did, I think this is late 60s. You could tell the leather piece is much thicker than the modern Brooks ones are. And a Brooks from this era too would have had the thicker leather than they do now. But how Pudgy, you said they sell athletic at Trader Joe's. Nice. Yeah, the YouTube, they got me on YouTube. Yeah, rim brakes are usually quieter than, disc brakes that are set up well and dry shouldn't make any noise either, but we all know how that goes. Same thing with rim brakes. You're supposed to, if you slightly toe them, they shouldn't make any noise, but yeah. Yeah, rim brakes for road brakes makes sense. Again, if you're in the mud a lot, you're really going to destroy your wheels with rim brakes, and they're not as functional. Um, just take all your brakes off and foot jam stop all the time. What was that? Was that Perry Roubaix where the one pro's brakes stopped working? Yeah, he was a Cofidis rider, I think, and he was doing the fixed gear. No, I can't. I only have a headshot angle, but he was doing that fixed gear stop on his rear tire, like fixie rider stop, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Rotary telephone is not a bad analogy. No, side poles aren't the worst rim brakes. It's funny because my dad, the Motobacan I have sitting upstairs, which was his bike, which is what got me into vintage bikes. Let's see if I have a photo of it. Is center pole, and center pole was like considered like an innovation. Like he was told like you have to have a bike with center pole brakes when he bought this. And I think they're the worst brakes because they're a pain in the ass to set up. They're hard to do with you like almost need the third hand tool. I use I used like a wood clamp for a while when I would be messing with them. But so this is my dad's bike. This is the bike that got me into vintage bikes. But if you look at, oh wait, I don't want that to move around. The center pole brake system. So you have you have the one cable coming down that goes into whatever you would call that little splitter, and the idea was that it was putting equal pressure onto the rims, I guess. And also, this is steel rim, so even worse, because steel rims you cannot stop on, especially when they're wet, even though they look really cool. But yeah, center pole I think are the worst. Side pole were actually the modern side pole that replaced these were a better innovation. But yeah, at the time these were considered something that were desirable. Just trying to see if I had a closer up picture of the brake system on there. Now, some other cool photos of the bike though. This is me and Large riding up to the when the Cavs won the finals, they had their victory parade, so we decided to ride up to Cleveland. It was a traffic jam for miles and miles, but yeah, I'm still riding the Motorbicon up there. This is to a brewery I went to that was absolutely horrible, but Dylan, you said they still make grip shift in high-end group sets. You can get SRAM XX1 grip shift, which is pretty funny. I saw a build recently on cross-country mountain bike that used grip shift to lock out the suspension. Huh. I was totally unaware of that. I assumed too, just like I was saying with, you know, you could talk about friction shifting and you could have good friction shifting and you could have garbage friction shifting, just like you could have, you know, good index shifting and garbage index shifting. Maybe there was high, yeah, well, you're saying there is decent grip shift, and maybe the ones I was riding were always really loose because they were on cheaper bikes. I did not know that. Yeah. Today's cows are much thinner skinned. Huh. And Pudgy said tons of folks ran indexed rear and grip shift micro adjust for the front triple back in the day. I had no idea. I thought grip shift was like a lower end group set fad from what, the 90s? Yeah, I had no idea. But then again, I don't, as you guys know, I don't like when it comes to the retro mountain bike scene, like even though mine's an '03, I was never ingrained in that kind of culture. I never knew as much about it. But my furnace is kicking on, so that'll be the background noise you may or may not hear. But it'll be kicking on a lot tonight because it's only like 15 degrees out now, I think. But oh yeah, which reminds me, I should get into the photos that you guys posted. Yeah, Pudgy said old center pole was pretty awful. I'm trying. The only bike that I ride with center pole is my Roger Riviere, and I should see if I could do a conversion. I want to convert the brakes on the Trek, which I tried to do on the live stream once, but now I have the right parts to do it. That one's not center pole, but that's old single pivot side pole instead of dual pivot, and that bike rides horribly with a load on it, especially a touring load, which I toured on it a couple times. Let's see if I have a picture of the Riviere. I think that is, yeah, that's center pole also, which I've toured on that bike, which is crazy to tour on a bike with center pole. Yeah, yeah, the Riviera is center pole. It does make it nice for rack. Oh wait, my face is covering that up so you can't see. Whoops, stop that. Whoops, wrong. moving the wrong thing. Yeah, it does make for some easy cable routing, but yeah, so this is my I use this as my early touring setup with like the commuter style panniers, that cheap center bag from Amazon. And look, I photographed it non DSO. Didn't even know that when I took this photo. Oh, this is the first camping trip I did. I think this way. Yeah, me and Large went down, did like a couple day trip to the end of the towpath, but shot some of it on film apparently. Does that have a? No, that's a double. Yeah. Yeah, my dad's bike is Schrader valves. The rims are drilled for Schraders for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think I. Yeah, Pudge, you're saying most steel rims are Schrader. I would be surprised if any steel rims weren't Schrader. Yeah. Grip shift was huge back in the 90s in mountain biking. By Donovan said he had grip shift and Magura hydraulic rim brakes on the mountain bike I put together in the 90s. Okay. Never had an issue with grip shift. It all still works today. Huh. And then Pudgy was saying that was a top shelf bike. So, yeah, that's something I was completely ignorant of, that they made high end. I had no idea they made high end grip shift. Yeah. Don't crank. Is that possible? Oh, looks like we had an interesting. While I was going back through the comments I'm behind on, we had some interesting chats going on. I'm trying to get those out of my. It makes me. Wow, interesting. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mike Holland? How's it going? We were just talking about RetroTech. If you didn't notice, I think the moderator's got it covered. Yeah. Yeah. What is if I wanted to look up modern SRAM grip shifting? Like I always say, I don't do this because I believe the expert. I believe I'm the expert on this. One of the things I love about doing this is that I learn so much from you guys. So, and that's something I didn't know. So when I talked down about grip shift, it was just like my experience is that, and I don't even remember what bike that was. It could have been a Walmart bike for all I know, that I rode grip shift on, and I was like, oh no, these will never do. But coaster brakes, RetroTech coast. I did my first bike, my first ever bike, which was a Huffy dirt bike, had coaster brake. We always called it foot brake. I don't. I guess that's what my dad called it. But and I always thought freewheel bikes were so cool because you always envy what you don't have. But man, those coaster breaker little BMX dirt bikes, like you could lay down the fattest skids with those things. I remember you would just be booking, and you just lock your feet and just like send those things sideways. So look up SRAM. Yeah, I got it. SRAM XX1 grip shift. Way more ergonomic, but I'm trying to. Yeah, I remember the ones they still had the numbers on them and everything back in the day. What's a good competitive cyclist? Is that legit to click on? Yeah, backcountry, eBay, bikesmiths. Yeah. Yeah, these are much nicer looking than $155 too. So not exactly they aren't giving them away as the kids as the kids say, Pudgy. Move my face back up into the. So it's 11 speed. So it's totally modern. All right, it's cut off for you guys. I'm straight up looking here, straight up reading this. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of words. Carbon fiber body and steel and aluminum internals. Huh. Jaws lock on grips keep you in touch with the bar and shifting mechanism. Huh. I guess you would put your hands right, like so you had the grip and you were still just using like your thumb and pointer to like shift it. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. I remember there was none of that like coning at the end. It was just like almost like integrated. It took up a big part of the shifter, and I'm guessing these probably have the right kind of resistance to make them practical. How Dylan was saying, wondered how it works. Could be a cool look for flat bars not having a thumb shifter hanging down. Yeah, you know, I'm guessing these feel pretty nice. I would love to try them. Like you're right, I'm half sold on these. I don't even have a flat bar bike right now because I've got alt bars on my winter bike and kind of those sweet bars on my single speed, which doesn't need shifters. But yeah, it'd be fun to try these. I bet they're actually, well, I mean it's SRAM, but I'm doubting they would make something that isn't good. But Moan Bikes makes modern tricked out coaster brake hub. Oh, by Donovan said the left grip shift was very nice for finding the zone where the front derailleur didn't rub. Yeah. Yeah, the state clunker comes with a coaster. I've definitely seen modern coaster on different things. They're still made. They're still around. Look up where they're made. Rick. Love Face is back. What? That's not even good spam. She didn't even drop a link. Yeah, what are they? So, without specking these out, do these work with any SRAM mountain bike derailleurs? Like, yeah, it seems like it does. Index shifting. Yeah, they're talking about all about it not slipping and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Does Loveface just keep changing their name? We need to hide user on this channel. That should get rid of them for good. So. Mike Holland, you said you had specialized rock combo that came with Sun Tour Barcon bar end shifters. You missed them. Yeah, that's what. When I stripped down the Schwinn Paramount on the live stream, that's one of the reasons I like, because the bike's way too small for me and I wanted the group set, and I'm like, I want to put bar ends on something eventually. I've never ridden a bike with bar end shifters. I'm going to put one onto my winter bike, but it's actually with the sort of the corner bars. It's going to end up on the little knobs in the front, so it won't be, it'll be a bar end shifter, but it won't be like that cyclocross bar end shifting experience. Yeah. Oh, I'm the only one who can ban them. Gotcha. I didn't realize that, Pudgy. Yeah, now they're completely hidden from the channel. So I probably did that when I first set this up. I didn't realize I didn't completely regulate the or unregulate what you and Ben can do. You and large. Dylan said friction bar end is so fun, feels like driving manual. That's what I like about. Does this one have it? Hang on, let me grab it. It's sitting right here. No, this is a real vintage Sun Tour right here. Uh, ratcheting, but not indexed, which is cool. See if we get some focus. Yeah, this is an old cyclocross shifter, but I like the ones, and I think they're wherever I set them after we tore. Oh, they're all in a box, but they'll have the come on, focus. They'll actually have the loop where you could switch them between friction and indexed. I think we were talking about this with just probably when we were tearing down the bike or talking about friction shifters. But I've always liked down tube or bar end. Like, it's cool when they have that switch so you could decide which way you want to go. So. Yeah, Dimitri, Pudgy needs more mod duties. Rick said ban him. He'd like to get on with his life. Nice. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, like you were saying, when you're using friction, you could definitely run any derailleur. But yeah, I love that. That's like a cool feature. Anything that has the ratcheting is kind of what predated true indexing, where they started to give it that ratchet mechanism instead of just the full-on friction. But is that annoying to people who have like noise sensitivities? Or is that like a? I feel like it's a '60s song. You got to change your evil ways, woman. Large would have been banned long ago. Oh, Patrick, you got friction bar ends on your Ascent. Nice. You like it pretty well? Oh, I might switch it out to flat bars. Gotcha. Hey, what's up, Nathan? How's it going? Pudgy said this is an old Aero TT from the looks of it. Um, it came off a that I've showed that cyclocross frame on here, but they were bar ends on it. Well, I never saw it assembled, but I believe there were bar ends on a cyclocross bike, Van Nispin, a Van Nispin, really cool. Friend bought it, but the head tube is bent, and he couldn't get the steerer through it. They gave him his money back. The eBay seller gave him all his money back. He gave me the frame and he said I might want all the parts. So that's where I got this. But really cool, beautiful frame. I just have it hanging on the wall. But then all the parts are like cool stuff. I used some of them for my single speed build. It had a total mix of Campy, Shimano. Like you could tell it'd been worked on over the years. But yeah. Never had a cable out of indexing because you index every time you shift. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Hey, what's up, Chris? Yeah, like when I went and rode the Peugeot again on the Festive 500 with down tube friction, it doesn't take long before you just get so back in. I'm out of the loop now, but at first you're like trying to remember how many gears you're throwing it through. Like, but once you get the hang of it, it's so great. And if you need to shift 3 or 4 gears, you just do it. And then if there's a little bit of noise, it becomes second nature to, well, bar ends you'd be doing it here, but down tube, you're reaching down, you just slightly adjust it and you get the derailleur in place, and you really do get good at doing it by sound. That's exactly how I friction shift. So, oh, Nathan, we were talking all RetroTech, so yeah, ASMR. Yeah, I didn't even know what that meant. Yeah, till like 2 weeks ago. Patrick said he used friction shifter bar ends on a number of bikes. I don't know why they're so despised. I think they're kind of making a comeback, right? I mean, Pathless Pedal has been talking about them, and yeah, the vocals were ratcheted. Oh, Nathan has a XC Ross that has a cool set of Sun Tour thumb shifters, 91-ish. Nice. Yeah, are you in the Discord, Nathan? If you are, drop a photo and we'll pull it up on screen. If not, it's no worries, but it's just basically like any website. You just have to put in a email address and make a password. Patrick, so you said you used them on a few bikes with mustache bars. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking with my Surly corner bars for the front derailleur, I'm going to leave the rear one indexed. It's 8-speed index and it works fine. But it'd be cool to put it out on front where I could just, it's a triple. So the indexing always worked good. The shifter just got, oh, it's right here. Just the original, let's see if we can get a focus on that. No? You're not going to help me out, camera? Come on. Yeah, so the original Shimano index shifter, it'll work. It would just keep gumming up, and I just had to keep taking it apart and spraying it out with like WD or Tri-Flow and then re-greasing it. And at some point, it just got not worth it. And now it's only going through 2 of the shifts. It won't go through all 3 of them. Yeah, it's just... it got to be too frustrating, so I went to friction on that completely. But with the Surly corner bars, the way they sit, where I like to put my hand is kind of now like on top of the shifter, so I think the bar end is going to make it way better. But yeah, there we go. Now we got it shifting. Now it won't go into 3. Let's see if we could. It's the old kind where they actually show you which gear you're in. I need to turn it down so the light's not. There it goes. See, that's the thing. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. They're really easy to service. You just take that screw off the bottom and you could flush them out. But I think this one might have actually worn out a mechanism a little bit. But Oh, Pudgy said the push for mullet drivetrain has really brought back friction shifters big time. Rick, that's how natural peanut butter works. You have to mix it, man. Which there's a couple brands. That's why Nathan's. If you get Nathan's, the oil and the peanuts don't separate, even though it's all natural. So, random front bag question. JMZ asked if you could fit a cell phone in the top pocket of the Catalyst. Yes, you can. I use it for that. I usually use it for my keys and wallet because those are the things I need to pull out the fastest, but it will. This is the 12. It'll fit the 12 in there too. And if I put the phone in there, I don't put anything else in there so it doesn't scratch it. But I like the Paloma as well. I think the Catalyst is more versatile because it works good as a front bag or a rear bag. So you could go Brooks saddle loops forward or handlebars. But Dylan says if the oil is separated, you know it's some damn fine butter. Yeah, they. Do I have this on? No, I should be seeing all the. I'm not seeing. What's the Laura comment, or did I say something and I already forgot about it? I'll look up yours, Jay Danny. He said he just opened a new post carry handlebar bag, 2.5L. I'm not familiar with that one. And then Ricky said, what's the new front bag rack? That's the Jack rack. That's coming out soon. Well, it's kickstarted. Maybe I need to put post carry in quotes. I've already Googled it, but it's showing me a bunch of stuff. Can't find it. Tons of stuff. Oh, here we go. This guy, Jay Dandy. I want to see what that looks like opened up. I can't really tell from this photo. Oh, the guy's running a Wahoo Element Bolt with some Ultegra road shifter, so I already like their photos. Oh, so it's like a front, yeah, and it looks like it doesn't fall down too far when you open it, which was the problem with a couple handlebar bags I've had. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, Laura Scudder's is a brand natural peanut butter. I don't think we have that around here. I haven't seen it anyways, because I always look at the natural peanut butters because I don't need sugar or trans fat in my peanut butter. Especially if you're going to put jam on there. Why do you need any more sugar? Topic for another day. But Mike Holland asked, not retro, but he's intrigued by the Gavinol GX. Has anyone here used them? I haven't. I do. Oh, so Jay Danny, you were saying those are side pocket and magnetic flap, which is cool for sure. Where's my mouse? There it is. Oh, I see the side pocket there. They do not have bigger photos on this website, anyways. Yeah, which could be good for like a small lock or things you need to access quickly, fastly. I'll look up Gavinol GX. I know he's talked about him on Pathless Pedaled, but I do not have experience with them. Oh yeah, those are like the friction shifters that kind of go on top of your levers. Yeah, let's see. See if they have a full-size picture. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like your typical old mountain bike friction shifter, but you mount it on top of the brake lever, or some people mount it on top of the brake lever, so it still has that feeling of where your index shifter would be. Oh, we can make this bigger. It's like Exxon Valdez in here. Dylan, I like, it's so funny. I like just straight natural peanut butter the best. Uh, the Market District Giant Eagle by me, they have roasted peanut butter. They have cashew butter, which I love cashews, um, and all this stuff. And it's just like, I just like straight natural, like peanuts the best. I know we're mixing every subject again, like always. You put honey on your peanut butter? Well, that's why you're. I need to calm down. Fluffernutter. Am I dadding this right? Says. We'll get back to the Gavinols in a minute. Laura Scudder's is made in the same as Smucker's. Is made the same as Smucker's peanut butter, made in the same plant. Used to work for them. Well, I think a lot of the even natural brands have been bought up, but the ingredient labels have to be honest, right? So, you know, like an old Jif trans fat, well, I know they've gotten rid of most trans fat. It still has a bunch of sugar added. My main thing is just getting peanut butter that's not a bunch of bullshit. Great username, Daddy. Yeah, fluff is made from, I think, well, do you know trans fats were designed as a lubricant during World War II. They used it to lubricate bearings and tank treads, and that's what ended up in our food in the all the way through the 80s and early 90s. So Fluffernutter still exists. It's funny that you said that's a New England thing, Pudgy, because my neighbor growing up was from Connecticut, and they were all about Fluffernutter, and I had no idea that was regional. But yeah. Oh, you got the you think you got the picture of the bike up there? Yeah, it is. Natural peanut, yeah, natural peanut butter with bananas. That is toast some bread, put the peanut butter, natural peanut butter on there when it's hot, cut up some bananas. That's the best breakfast. So easy. Who needs to make French toast? We got Nathan's Ross up here. Let me. Nice. Fendered with the cantilevers and everything. You had a couple photos. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's the shifters, so they go either way. Yeah, but it actually looks better zoomed out. But regional fluffernutter. Oh, Jay Dandy, your peanut butter and crackering tonight with an IPA. Yeah, that's pretty common. All right, Mike Holland. Yeah, glad you stopped by. What's the difference between a banana and a tablespoon of honey? Do I have to answer that question? Uh, they don't taste anything alike besides the fact that they're both sweet. Yeah, potassium. I mean, that's just one thing. Let's go to one. Let's go to. I think there's a third photo up here. Oh no, those are the two. Yeah, yeah, very cool. Yeah, let's look at the other bike pics. We didn't do bike pics yet, did we? No. Uh, oh, we got Rick's winter build. Let's get the big guy up here. Those wooden fenders are something else. They're pretty cool. I think Pudgy's right. Like right there, you need the little like a leather or like. I think with yours, you and since you don't mind it, a leather flap would be perfect. But like he said, you could cut an old piece of an old tire and do it. But if you're going wood fenders, I think like some kind of like leathery flap would like really would look really good. Yeah, saddle looks cool. Yeah, those Rothschild. Is that what Large had on his picture? We'll get to those. Oh, and this is the way he drummed out his fenders so they could fit between the stays. That's one thing. Like I have those metal. They're not. These aren't fellow owners. These might be Nito. I can't remember. But I need to indent them so they could fit on the bike I want them on. Wood's much easier, obviously, to do that with. Oh, there's Large's tires. Yeah, those are. Oh, you put them on the Gorilla Monsoon, so you're all winter moded ready. Well, you have multiple bikes because tomorrow it's like today it's what it's 15 out now, high of like I think it only got up to like 22 today, but tomorrow it's going to be in the 40s again. So Ohio is impossible to predict this time of year. Well, everywhere is becoming impossible to predict with the way the warming's been. And Dylan was out. Oh, and his nice. I like the shining the light on the bike with the nice sunset in the background. It's like studio lighting. Hot bevy, as Aaron would say as well. Work back to these comments since I've been ignoring them. But Jay Danny, yeah, Ted King likes maple. I'm way more maple than honey. I usually have some local honey around here, but for me, honey's more for tea. I actually don't like the flavor of honey on food that much. I'm like not against it, but definitely take maple syrup over it. One has Cabrera asked if it's not too much how I got into cycling. Always was. My dad wasn't a cyclist, but he was always a guy with a bike. And through my childhood and into my early 20s, I was a guy with a bike. The bike that's my winter bike now was just my bike. I never considered myself into cycling. I just like to get around on my bike. I rode to work, and then six, whatever, 6, 7 years ago, started to ride that mountain bike again, and met people like Large and a couple other friends, and they all knew a lot about bikes and talked about bikes. And once I got my dad's vintage Motobacon, I took it apart, put it back together, bought a Peugeot, bought a Viscount, and just got into bikes. Our friend Otis, we met a guy Otis who ended up opening up a bike shop, and that's where I learned about supple bikes and gravel bikes and all that stuff. And that it made way more sense to ride a bike with 42s on when you're out exploring than it did to ride a bike with 28s on it. So pretty much that, yeah. And then this channel, doing YouTube and showing some of my rides, people started commenting, and I would like look up what they were talking about and asking me questions, and I'm just like someone who's anything I'm into, I become super curious about. And these live streams, I probably learned more about bikes in the last year that we've done these than I knew in the all of my life about bikes. So yeah. I don't know the Jesus and Mary chain that well, Pudgy, but yeah. Oh yeah, you were saying definitely leather for the flap, and Malk has a Brooks. Oh, I didn't know Brooks actually made like an official flap you could buy. Yeah. Oh, you said the back needs a flap even more. Huh. I always thought the flaps were more important on the front because you're trying to keep your feet dry, so you wanted to hang down. I thought the back was pretty protected because I get by with what the British call the ass saver, the clip-on fender on the back pretty well. But what do I do about road salt? Anything spray it off? Yeah, that's what I was showing in my last video. I have a floor drain right over here, so I hose my bikes off. My winter bike, which is I know it's controversial. It's a 2003. It might have some sentimental value, but it's not an expensive bike. I hit with a lot of WD-40. But yeah, Tri-Flow is better. Use something else. But yeah, I'm able to wash my bikes in the basement in the winter, thank God. So Jay Dandy, you're a honey guy. Yeah, the Rothschilds are aggressive tires. Yeah. But we get so I think the Rothschilds are probably pretty good, like Large is saying, because they might make certain things work because once the feet print, whatever feet prints, God, footprints like start to form into like the bike trails, they become almost unrideable. Where some of the aggressive tires will give you a little extra time out there. Where even my 45 North Grabdales like are great in like slush, some ice, in the snow for sure. But once stuff gets real icy and ruddy, yeah, on 2.1s or what are those 2.3s, I'm running out of. They're not even going to do enough. So Pudgy's right. Maple is greater than honey. Oh, you're getting Pudgy. You're getting your Gravdals, deity pedals, and very. Oh yeah, I saw you were selling your pedals and going to the deities. Which deities did you end up going with, Pudgy? Because I have the compounds and the blade runners, but large to know the names of the better compound ones that I wish I had gone with. And the blade runners I love, but they're ones that they just call the compounds. The axle sits too high, as we've talked about a couple times before. Yeah, Fluffernutter is what, marshmallows and peanut butter? It's man, I do not like it. I remember having those sandwiches on like Wonder Bread and like white bread and Fluffernutter and uh, Smucker's jam. You're like, our parents used to wonder why we were like so hyperactive. It's like you just fed me four ingredients that are made out of corn syrup, and you're wondering why I can't control myself in school. Yeah, Elvis sandwiches, peanut butter, bananas, and bacon, and then frying it, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, marshmallow fluff, they used to sell that separate too. And now that already grosses me out just thinking of that amount of sugar. What's up, Rick Cummins? Hey, he said back flap helps the rider behind you for sure. And when I always do road apple in the spring and I put my clip on fender, everyone sits behind me and drafts off me, and I can't draft off anyone else because I'm getting water blasted in my face. So, hey, what's up, Rusty? I can't keep up on the comments tonight. I'm going off on so many tangents. And every comment is good, so I keep talking about every comment. But oh, the rear one looks short to you, you said, Rick. Uh, Let me pull that back up. Oh, yeah. You're right. I wasn't paying attention to that. That is very. Yeah, that doesn't go down very far. Huh. Yeah, because usually they go between the chainstays. Like the metal ones I have would go all the way between the chainstays and way farther back around. All right, now I see why you need a long flap on there. You also need something that's fairly rigid if it's going to go down far enough to give protection behind. But oh, Chris, good idea. He said old leather purse from the thrift store will work out. And WD-40 is the devil's lubricant. Hey, what's up, Bradley? Cordara. He said there's a Bridgestone RBT for sale on FB Marketplace. Looks in decent shape. I would have. So I do know Bridgestone. Bridgestone though is like Schwinn or Peugeot, and I don't know the model. So Bridgestone made nice bikes, and they made what today we would consider like a Walmart bike. So I'll have to look up that model in a second to see what I think of it. So yeah, just by knowing that, without knowing the actual model, I have no idea. Um, there were some really nice Bridgestones that would probably go for $500 to $800 now, and there's some Bridgestones that I would only pick up if they were sitting on the side of a curb for free. So, oh, Rick, you slipped out with the studs on the Rothschilds. I always kind of worried about that with my 45 Norse when I was riding on brick roads and it's not that wet. But I felt like with the Gravdals, the studs, when they're just on hard concrete, kind of end up pushing into the rubber. And I was still getting enough contact, even though I'm cautious. But yeah. Oh, you got the cheapest alloy pedal that they make, Pudgy. Gotcha. That's what I was, Bradley. Those are the ones I was thinking of. The Death Traps. The Death Traps are much better than the compounds for deity, just because the Death Traps have a little more concaveness to them, so your feet are contacting those spikes or pegs, whatever you call them. Whereas on the compounds, that I just find that the axle sits up too high, and my foot has a tendency to slip side to side. Yeah. Huh, large, you slipped out on those too. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Bicycle Wizard? Any plans on riding the Katy Trail? I was actually completely unaware of it till our buddy, who's usually in these or jumps in these streams a lot, um, traveling through, rode it. So the longest contiguous rail trail in the country. Um, Me and Aaron have looked at it. I don't have any active plans to ride it. Like in my mind, it's something I definitely want to do, but I don't have any plans for this year. Yeah. You know, Chris said, yeah, Death Trap's much better than the compounds for sure. Oh, does Patrick? Oh, yeah, Patrick would know the Bridgestones better. I'll pull this up in a second. Let's look at it right now. The Bridgestone. Let's see if we can pull one up here, and then we will take a break because I need a beer and I need to take a leak. But if I wait on that, I'll forget about it. And depending, sometimes I could tell right away. Um, oh, it's a rotneering bike. Get this up here. This website's real slow, so give me a second. It's looking like it's a really nice bike right off the rip. Or is this a bike someone converted it all to? Let me see if I could find something. I want like the generic catalog view of it. This guy took the photo non-DSO. Same with this guy. Oh, nice. Rick, you ended up buying a crankset off Obsequious. Yeah, we were talking about that. Pins is the word I was looking for on the pedals, Pudgies. Thank you. Oh, yeah, Summit Perry does have some Bridgestones. Oh, this is a 1992 RBT. Let's see. Someone's definitely every one I'm finding, people have rebuilt into really nice bikes. So that's what I was looking at when I was skipping over everyone's comments. But I was looking for just a website that was talking about, I want to see one that's not been rebuilt. Here's a 91. Yeah, these look super badass. They're designed to be sports touring bikes. Oh, here it is in the original catalog. That's what we need to see. That was their cover in 92, huh? I thought he was going to give us a direct link to the page that this went to. That didn't work out too well, huh? Chromoly 4. Oh, this is an RB. Yeah, here's the RBT. Let's see. Yeah, this guy's got it running Fenders with 32 mil tires, so it seems like it's got plenty of clearance. Yeah, I'm guessing these are bikes that are going for a decent chunk of change these days. Uh, yeah, some are popping up, and I'm guessing these are bikes that have some fair bit of value to them. I'm looking at like everything that I see here, the lugs. Um, they look like they have real dropouts. They're not bullshit dropouts. Chromoly forks with mounts for racks. I'm guessing these were some decent touring bikes for their time. So I don't have an estimate. Like, I think what Patrick said about like searching eBay to see, when you search eBay, switch the filter to sold so you can see what a bike actually went for, not what someone asked for it. But especially with the trends that are going on right now, I'm guessing these are probably bikes that are climbing in value because they have way more clearance than your typical vintage steel road bike. But Oh, Bicycle Dad. That is one of the things. I was talking about that for last year. We did the Empire State Trail, Buffalo to Rochester, and I really want to do like Albany down into New York City. Oh, Pudgy just said that. I see that. Yeah. Um, I am all about like being on a bike tour, camping, and then like all of a sudden riding into New York City. I think it would be awesome. But yeah. Oh, Pudgy said that catalog was for sale in Nutmeg this year. So even as I was just saying, I'm thinking like someone selling that at Nutmeg too. It's definitely a valuable thing. Yeah. He's using as a crock at a saddle. Patrick was saying the vintage Bridgestones are pretty desirable in general, especially the mountain bikes. Huh. Yeah. I think they didn't Bridgestone favor the high end. I mean, I know they did make some cheaper bikes as well, but anything Ron Nearing, anything that you're going to get that has any steel bike that has tire clearance is going to have value right now. I mean, I won't say any decent steel bike with tire clearance is going to have some value right now. Very popular for a good reason, you know. Still cheaper than a you know, if you could get 32s with fenders, I mean, if you could get 35s on something like this, if you could find one that was made for 27-inch wheels that you could downsize to 700C and get 35, 38s on there, you know, even if you paid even if you paid 4 or 500 for the frame, you're still what, one quarter of what a modern bike would cost. That would be built almost out of the identical tubing and not look as cool, in my opinion. But yeah. All right, yeah, let's do a break. I need to grab a beer and take a leak. And we do have a new channel member, Michael Musgrave. It's funny because I actually, my friend Micah, Genuine Article, who a lot of you guys have seen on the show before, stopped by tonight to have a meeting with me. And he met the where he teaches part-time now because he's moving into his art career. He met the maintenance guy, the maintenance tech guy, who was the original drummer in my band. And this does all come full circle, trust me. And when we were recording there years later, Michael Musgrave, who's the latest channel member, played harmonica on one of my band's tracks. But now I always see him riding his bike on the bike paths all over town. Not always. We run into each other over the years once in a while. So, yeah, I haven't added you to the list yet, Michael, if you happen to be watching this now or after the fact, but you'll be on for Thursday. So thanks to our latest member and all the members, as always. I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. Their financial support really does make it possible to do this many live streams and produce this many videos. So thanks a lot. If you're interested in joining, we could drop a link on the screen in the chat right now that you could check out and follow that link and join the channel and get some special perks too. Anyways, thanks to everybody else too for tuning in. I really enjoyed doing this. Check out the merch store and also drop a like on this video. Thanks, every little bit helps. We will be back in a couple minutes.
I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat. I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat. tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat.
Ah, the boo hiss was for Rick's harmonica joke. Yeah, Bradley was saying that he's at about $250 with the dude on the Bridgestone. Yeah, I got to assume that's not a bad deal. I've definitely paid more for complete bikes. So, well, someone said they were on par with early Treks. I think my Trek 500, which is not even top of the line Reynolds, it's 501 Reynolds. I think I paid $300 for, which I was happy with. So yeah. Someone said Bridgestone used to make Rivendales. Let me clean up this internet so I could pull up some more bike pics. Oh, here we go. Oh, Patrick's drinking a Surly Axeman IPA. Oh, nice. All the bikes in the background. And then Rusty said, T, since he's in quarantine mode, tested positive for the Rona last week, last day of quarantine today. No symptoms, huh? I'm still dodging the bullet. I haven't had it yet. Oh, and Chris has his fat bike set up for the snow. Oh, yeah, nice. That's looking good. Oh, wait, the second photo, right? We got two different. There's the fat bike. Ah, got you guys. Grant was at Bridgestone before Rivendell. Bridgestone stopped selling bikes in the U.S., so Grant started his own bike company, Rivendell. Gotcha. Okay. Pudgy, you're asking about the nuke-proof hub. I definitely want to give you something cool because you've given me the amazing spin wheels. But the nuke proof hub, like I've said, is laced to a really sweet Mavic Open Pro rim. And it's a front. And it's just something that I don't really want to break up that wheel. Like it's a sweet road bike wheel, which I bought to have. And my Schwinn Peloton has a what are those Bontraggers that are known to fail? Oh, a race light. So I think I'm gonna have to replace the race light on my only true road bike anymore, which is a 86 Schwinn Peloton with 9-speed Dura-Ace. So I think it's for that build. I still can be convinced. But I like the whole wheel build is the issue. If I just had the hub, I would totally just give it to you if it wasn't already set into like a wheel that's kind of sweet. But man, we are getting hammered with the spam tonight. Let me grab it. Yeah. And this thing weighs nothing. Like, oh, it's not even an Open Pro. It is a Mavic. It's a Mavic. Huh. Open SUP. So, yeah. I, the chance of getting this to focus on the hub are slim to none, but oh, we got to get the nuke proof side logo. I think their innovation was right. They were one of the first to use sealed bearings, I believe, and they're like we were looking up right. They now a lot of them are carbon, but I think these ones were tie, maybe. I mean, even the quick release mechanism on them looks cool. But yeah, yeah. So this is radial laced. I bought it on Steel is Real. Uh, I had this on. Oh, this actually has bladed spokes in it too, which just adds to like why I like it so much. But I had this on an Austro Daimler Puch Alpina that someone brought into Dirty River. I bought the bike. Otis bought it for $100. He sold it to me for $100. I fixed the thing up. It was beautiful. The video I just made where I was like rubbing compound and waxing a bike, I did that to that one first. It was this blue bike, but I just didn't need it. It was a down tube shifting bike with a full Shimano 600 group set, and I put this on it. But then I sold it to a friend or a friend's girlfriend so he could give it to his friend for Christmas. But I kept this for myself. I think I paid $100 for this, so not nothing, but not expensive. But how this rim is pretty narrow. I think it says on here 622 by 13. But yeah, even anodized in the gray is what makes it kind of sweet too. But Jay Dandy misses Love Face. It says what SUP stands for right on it. Soude Usine Process. So it's in the French. So SOUDE USINE Process. So not sure if that's something with the anodizing or what, but Open SUD CD couche door. Oh yeah, it's all. I'm assuming double Olay means double wall. Pretty cool. You gotta admit, Pudgy, that's like a hard wheel to give up. That's a good wheel build. I felt like I was an idiot when I bought it for $100. I'm like, I just saw the picture. I'm like, I love this thing. I need it for something. But yeah, looking up just like why even why Pudgy would want it, like the hub is that valuable on its own, and this is a decent Mavic rim as well. So it's funny how certain things, it's like I just again, like I was saying when I was talking about earlier about how I got into cycling. It's like I didn't know a bunch about it. But I could tell when I saw something that looked cool, and that's like same one of those things where I'm like, what is that? That looks cool. I need that. It's French for not pudgies. It's a hard wheel set to give up. I know, I know. That's why you got. But the difference is I'm keeping. Well, not that you could take those apart because they wouldn't come apart. Like running them as is. You could see why it'd be a little hard to like for me to let this go, knowing the hub would be cut out of it because it's a pure, roadie wheel. But see, I thought I saw another pic somewhere in here I wanted to pull up in one of the different chat threads. Uh, Maybe not. Huh. Too much on my mind. Too many, yeah. No, guess not. You'll relace the rim for me? I do have, well, I'd have to count I don't know if they'd be different, but I do have campy hubs that came off my Jeton. And so maybe if you relaced it with because I forgot that you can do that. See, I can't do that, which would change things. But I have some high flange campy hubs that are laced to tubular rims, which I'm never going to use the tubular rims. So that could be like a cool trade right there. Not that you need to trade. You already gave me the spins, but you know. Let's think about that. Let's think about that. Yeah, I was kind of laughing too at my yeah, so you're talking about matching. I don't necessarily need everything to match depending on what the build is. The Schwinn looks sweet with the race lights, but I know they're going to give out. So if I switched one over to that and then eventually switch the other one to something else, but you think of old like time trial bikes or like track bikes, even with the different size rims, and yeah, it doesn't always bother me to have mismatched wheels. So it just depends on the build, and I think I'm a lot less. There's certain bikes that I think have to look perfect, and other ones where I don't think they do. So yeah, it just depends. Oh, Rick, you said you have the Romulus on the trainer now, and it just seems wrong somehow. Nathan says sounds like a double bourbon and you might get a hub. I should grab the spins for anyone who uh, hasn't seen them yet. So I took them off my Trek. So I have a Trek mountain bike, an early 2000s Trek mountain bike, and it's my winter bike. But I rebuilt it basically around the wheels Pudgy gave me. But I didn't want to run them through the winter to wear, as we were talking about earlier, with rim brakes. But they're so cool because they're so cool. So I took them off for the winter. But it's not kind of beneficial. I bought an extra rear cassette so I could just swap with tires and snow tires in the summer, swap back to the ones Pudgy gave me. But let me bring them up here for anyone who's never seen them. They're carbon fiber. Yeah, these guys. So, wait, way too far back. So, kind of like old mag wheels that everyone talks about, or Spinergy, which would be four spoke. But yeah, these just look. And my bike's all black, by the way, if you haven't seen it. So these just look like the Darth Vader wheels on that bike. They're amazing. So he has a very strong selling point to getting my new nuke-proof hub, obviously. Spin them on camera. It suits you. I'm trying to think if I have an actual picture of that. I'm sure I do. See if I have it on Flickr. So I could show it in quality on like garbage Instagram. Funny Brad's not here to make fun of me for talking about Flickr. I'm going to have to go to the Flickr. And yeah. And Instagram is slow loading. It's a frustrating website. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so this is the Trek build up with the spin wheels and the Surly corner bars. I've since added the Velo Orange Happy Stem to bump those bars up a little higher, but that pretty badass looking for sure. It was so funny when Pudgy handed these to me when that was the first time I met him in person. Dylan was there, and Aaron was there, and Malk, and Aaron was like, "What's with you guys?" Because we're all like, me and Dylan and Malk are just like, these are so amazing, And Aaron's like, what? What are you guys talking about? Dylan's like, just look at them, So. Hey, what's up, Michael? I've never called you Michael. It sounded weird to say, but that's your on-screen name, Mike. Peanut butter and salami. Yeah, I should grab the because can't be high flange like yeah, that bike looks like a cartoon. You're right. You're right, Rick. It's something else. The video where this is the thumbnail has like yeah, oh yeah, you're right, Pudgy. So when Pudgy handed me these wheels, this wheel set, like there were like people walking down the street onto the way to the brewery we just left, and they're like, "Those are sweet!" Like like passerbys were like talking about how cool they were. But yeah, I should grab. I'll grab that campy wheel. It's right over here too to show you how cool the. I don't know. I think high flange hubs look so cool. I wonder what technologically made high flange hubs go out of style. Is it just a weakness in the Like to have that much metal there? Is it just too much metal? Is it weight or weakness? Because they drilled it out. I'll grab one, but yeah. Yeah, so if you don't know what I mean, like this is what a high flange hub looks like. You know, the extra big uh, disc there. I mean, they look so badass. These are laced to Mavic, old school Mavic wheels as well. These are Mavic Mont. There's an L in there. Monterey? Yeah, it's not Monterey. It has an L. Monterey. But yeah. Yeah, then you got but the cool thing is obviously always, let's see if I can get it to focus. Probably not. But the Campagnolo logo on the hubs. Oh, Pudgy said they're still used in track cycling. High flange doesn't age well, especially with modern spoke patterns. Oh, yeah, look at the angle. Yeah, so I'm looking at my other vintage bike. These have Ultegra. Ultegra probably, Yonda would know. He gave me these wheels. It won't show up real well. Wait, yeah, kind of hard to see, but those are Ultegra hubs, and the spokes come out at way less of a harsh angle. And with the high flange, you can see how the spokes come out like. So I wonder if that's with it. So that's what I'm asking, Rick. When you're saying why the big disc, that's what a high flange hub is. And I don't know. I see it in bikes. What, Pudgy? You might know better than me. I know you're younger than me. But you just know bike history sometimes. Um, uh, into the early no into the mid 70s they used high flange tubs before I'm looking at all the other bikes before they switched to what would look like a modern um, bike, you know, like something like that looks much more modern. But yeah, I don't know. There must be something about this technology that's not as I have no idea. Why would I even pretend like I could speculate? But and then also, in case you're never not aware, so these are true tubulars. So you could see the rim shape. You had to. These were, for those of you who don't know, you pros still ride tubulars. You actually glue the tires to these. The tube is inside. In the U.S., they called them sew-ups, and in Europe, they called them tubulars. You actually glue a tire that has a tube into it, and they're round, and they're supposed to be much more supple. Tubulars are still considered superior to clincher tires, which is what most of us ride. But that's why I have this wheel set, because I took it off a bike because I wasn't about to glue tires to a bike. But yeah, this goes on my 1975. No, it's a 74 Tour de France. It's Jeton Tour de France. Yeah. I haven't made a video about that bike yet because it's a work in progress. Because I'm trying to make it a different kind of neo retro build. It's my oldest project, but where I'm trying to keep the original like chain rings and stuff. So whatever. Yeah. Yeah, definitely shorter spokes. Yeah, cyclocross. Yeah, track. They still rise sew ups for sure. Yeah. Yeah, tubulars are rounder, which is supposed to make them corner better. They're supposed to be way more supple. For years, and I think this has changed now, but tubular tires a lot of times, like pro teams would buy batches of handmade, and Germany makes a lot of them. Right, Germany's known for what, Continental and what, Michelin, but small brands uh, sell like they have like dedicated handmade tires that only sold to the pros, and they would put no logos on them. So if a team's sponsored by Continental or what's the other big Vittoria, uh, they would not. They just wouldn't put any markings on the tires, and pros would buy super supple. Handmade tubular tires for their bikes up until like the last few years, and maybe even still now. But yeah. Oh, Nathan, you have soaps on one of your bikes? Oh, nice. Patrick, yeah. So Patrick said a friend of his rides CX with tubulars. Even at the local cross races that I made a couple out to, I made it out to a couple of the local cyclocross races this year. There were the more serious guys were still riding tubular tires. Yeah. Yeah, Belgium's huge. Yeah, Belgium is huge for tubulars, but yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. So when I make the, I'm making the, I've been doing the research today to make the video about not just this bike, but Barry Hoban himself is a very, those of you who've been around a while, you know this bike because we built the whole thing on the stream. But doing the research on the person, Barry Hoban, he was sponsored by Mercier. It looks like Mercier. I'm assuming it's pronounced Mercier with the French pronunciation, or, but so he had his bikes. He's a British rider. He had his bikes built by a small frame builder in Leeds in the UK, and the frame builder would spray paint them Mercier pink. And so if you don't, Mercier is the team that Polidor rode for. If you're modern, that's Matthew Vanderpool's grandpa. He's considered the perpetual second place. So Hoban early in his career was riding for Polidor, but since he was a British guy riding on the continent, he had his bikes built up himself, and then when he got to training camp, they would put the Mercier decals on him. So, you know, when the TV cameras and the photos took a picture of him, it looked like he was riding a Mercier, but no, he was riding a hand-built bike from the UK, and that was very common. And so it's the same thing that happens with tires, or when a new tech comes out that like a smaller brand might be making, and it's not your sponsor or your favorite saddle, they just don't brand it, or they actually lay the decals right over top of them. So yeah, it's been really interesting doing the research on this bike. This is a Falcon. Falcon. The original brand was called Eagle, and it's really hard to find like the date or anything on this bike. I'm trying to date it by like the lugs actually, uh, but oh, Rick was asking how you could tell it's a tubular. That's pretty. That's so the tubular is just concave in here. Like it's probably hard to see on the stream, but there's no real edges. It's just a slight concave pattern. Whereas like the clinchers that we all ride, um, you have the rim walls that. See if I can get that to focus. I don't know if I can. See how the rim walls just stand up so far, and they have a lot of them have the ridge there, so the bead fits inside here. You'll never have a raised piece of metal there on a clincher. So Yeah, just a deep channel there's a deep channel in here, whereas there's no deep channel on a tubular. But so if you're buying like a vintage bike, if you're buying a vintage bike and it has tubulars, like look at how thin that rim profile is. It's already a nice bike. Like in the US, like only the top of the line bikes were imported with rims that would have been tubular. Only like racers, amateur racers, or even professionals would have wanted them. So if your Peugeot PX10 would have had tubulars, Giton Tour de France, any of the Italian bikes you got imported would have had tubular rims. They wouldn't put those on consumer bikes. So if you ever see that, like if you ever see that the tires are glued on and you're at a garage sale, it's a pretty safe bet if you're spending $100 or less, you're making bank on the bike you're about to buy. So yeah, that's Nathan May says a good point too. That almost always you're going to see glue residue. So see all that. Sealant can look, you're right, Pudgy. Modern era sealant can look similar, but you're most of the time you're not going to be looking at a bike that's cheap that has that look. Yeah. Can you tell the difference with the tire mounted? Yeah. The tires are actually sitting right here, so give me a second. I'll grab them. So the guy who sold me this bike, he was like, "It's my dad's. We are never allowed to touch it." He, like his dad. Usually, the reason you won't walk up on one of these at a garage sale for almost nothing is because anyone who bought a bike like this knew what they had, you know. So it's usually It's just like that lucky thing. Like Rick, as you would know, like you're usually not going to find a Leica camera at a garage sale. You're going to find a Minolta, same kind of thing, but the shape of the tire is noticeable. Like I know this is off the rim, but even on the rim, it would be kind of noticeable. And this is why they're called sew-ups. So let me see if I could show this. You would obviously would not see this on the bike, but it's just still worth showing. So the tube is actually sewn in there. I should show where the Presta valve is. That would make more sense too. But you would be able to see the roundness probably from it would just look different on the rim. I think you would notice if you looked closely. It's like I was saying, the guy was like, "This was always in the garage. We were never allowed to touch it." He was asking $350, which was a fair price for a Giton Tour de France, and I lowballed him with half, 175. This is on Craigslist, thinking I don't need another bike, and so I just lowballed it. And when he said yes, then I found myself driving 45 minutes up towards Cleveland to buy it. But he was like, "I put air back in the tires. I think they're good." And I rode it around a little bit, like when I got it home. But if these are so roached, I think the other one, it's like, I think the rubber compound, yeah, like the rubber is actually like delaminating off the, cotton. Because these are probably, right? You might know, but these are mostly made out of cotton, I believe, with like a rubber coating then like laminated around them. But yeah, what brand are these? I can't remember. I saved them for stuff like this because they're just kind of interesting, artifacts. But don't these have any markings? Oh yeah, there they are. These are Panaracers, tour guards. Yeah. Interesting, they're Panaracers. Well, they would have been replaced probably. I bet that guy rode that bike into the 80s or something. Oh, you're right, Nathan. Yeah, tubulars are still a better tire. Very few pros are riding clinchers to this day. I would say the pro Peloton is still 85% on tubulars. Yeah. And the other thing is you could ride, another big deal for pros is you could ride them once they flat for a while. So if your tubular flats, you're not instantly done. Whereas if your clincher comes off the rim, you can't roll the bike at all. Tubular, you can at least ride out a little bit with a flat tire, which is a big deal in the if you're racing for a career. Yeah, do it, Nathan. Drop them for sure. Yeah, that's what Pudgy was saying. Yeah, basically canvas with a rubber tread. Grand subject. Hey, what's up, man? I I have never heard. I know they dry rot. I mean, when you say that tubulars would dry rot fast, these are completely dry rotted. But again, who knows how long they were on that bike? So I don't know the answer to that. I don't. I don't think they're known for going flat any faster. You would feel like with this kind of rim profile, that pinch flat would be less likely. And it's also cushioned because you have the tire wrapped all the way around the tube. Whereas clincher, the reason you're pinch flatting is because the tube's getting compressed into the metal really quick. I That's just me looking at physically what the rims look like, but someone else might have a better idea on that. I would find it hard to believe they flatted faster in pros and in cyclocross and road racing still used them, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah. Yeah, no bead. There's no bead, Rick. That's why you have to glue them. Yeah, you literally glue them. And there's the easier way, like kind of the Rick. Yeah, the fix a flat. That's why amateurs don't ride with them. Pros, they hand them a whole new wheel with the tire already glued on it. But if you're someone who's riding tubulars in 1977, you carry an extra tubular with you, or you unsew it and resew it. It's a whole thing. But yeah, yeah, definitely a race application. And pros to this day do training with clinchers. They don't train with their tubulars for the most part. So they have a different wheel set on their trainer bikes than they do on their race bikes. But yeah, so if you're an amateur, you would carry a full folded up tubular in your little tool sack, but the glue doesn't stick instantly. So the other point I was going to make, there is a lazier, and it's supposed to be decent technology from what I understand, is there's glue tape. So you could wrap the rim with like kind of a double-sided glue tape and then put the tubular on, which I think is a more Continental sells it. So it's a more it's just a simpler way to do it instead of just, if you're not a bike mechanic and you're just an amateur, you can run just some glue sticky tape around the rim, right? Yeah, and Pudgy was saying, yeah, when you look at old racers, they have the tubulars wrapped around their shoulders. Oh, Pudgy, you said the tape is terrible? I just assumed Continental wouldn't be selling it for a lot of money if it wasn't reasonable at these, if it wasn't a reasonable solution. I knew it was like a lazier way to do it, like not true pro mechanic way, but I didn't know it was not. Well, at least it was in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah. And I'm only speaking from reading. Like I'm not like, or from like watching YouTube videos, not from any experience with the tape or the glue. Like the only experience I have is owning this wheel set where I, you know, pulled the dry rotted tires off and switched my tires to clinchers, or my wheels to clinchers. Half of me wanted to run them, because one, I think I think this is a beautiful wheel set. I think high flange is beautiful. They're, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, just even the campy logo and the hub, like, is something that I think is cool. But again, these were also probably made for what 19, 21 millimeter tires, so something that I was still able to fit 28s into the Giton Tour de France. So 28s would have been like, they would have been like, if you would have put those on that bike in whatever I was 74. I don't even know if they made 28s in 1974, but they would have thought you were insane, or they would have been like, oh, it's your winter bike. Those are winter tires. When we're talking about putting 2.3-inch tires with studs on, putting 28 millimeters on in 1974 would have been like extremely wide winter tires, like trainer tires. So you could ride through the Belgian winter, right? But yeah. Could use honey in a pinch. Yeah, as long as it didn't get too hot. Oh yeah, Mace dropped a photo up here, so we could, it's up here of the tubulars. Oh yeah, modern tubulars. That yeah, Continentals. Molasses. Oh, they're there. It's, oh, gator squins. These are gator squins. Gator skins. These are 25 millimeters, huh? Yeah, as you can see, they look a little different from the ones I was showing because I was showing. We'd have to look it up, but I'm guessing those are definitely replaced tires, not the originals. Uh, Especially since they're, well, what year would? Yeah, I don't think Japanese tires would have been. Yeah, they definitely would have been sold on a brand new uh, Chiton in '74. So, Rick would use resin. Oh yeah, I also wanted to pull up the couple polls I did recently. I thought turned out kind of interesting. I love getting that random sampling from the. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is the latest question. The do you have a winter bike? And so this one only has 60 votes so far. I just put it up today, but as you can see, dedicated winter bike 13%, and I'm in that category. It doesn't let me vote. I wish it let me vote in my own polls because that's like I'm not swaying anything. Like I'm an active, cyclist too. But dedicated winter bike, which I have 13%. I convert one of my bikes for winter as seasonally. It cut me off seasonally needed. 28%. Nope would be 40%, 47%, which I think might be a little skewed because we do have people who watch the channel that don't live in um, the part of the world where they need a winter bike. And then my indoor trainer is my winter bike, which I think is probably Lanky Cyclist vote. Well, we haven't had Lanky in here tonight, have we? But yeah. So 12% said they'd ride on the trainer. So out of 60 votes, I wish it also showed me the actual vote count. I don't need it. I don't want to do the math on that. And then the other one, I showed this before, but this has 90 votes now, which I found kind of an interesting spread as well. Like it was 20 degrees, so I posted this, and I was wondering how high or what kind of temperature you would ride in. So only 40 degrees plus 23%, 30 degrees plus 38%, 20 degrees plus 10%, 10, 8. And then it's interesting to see single digits and below jumps up to 21%. And I know we have a number of people who watch the channel are from Minneapolis and Minnesota and places that are colder than Ohio. So it kind of makes sense that it's interesting 20 degrees and 10 degrees. So the teens all the way up to 29. If you add those together, it gets 18%. Whereas like 30 plus almost has 50%. So I thought that was kind of interesting that, and in a way doesn't surprise me. It's like anyone who's willing to ride in the really cold will ride in the really cold. Anyone, above 30, that's like what the coldest it gets in Florida and stuff like that. So that was one of the more interesting polls I think we've seen on the channel to see how that spread is like, you know, the middle is the part that's like the least common, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, French bike companies definitely would not have had Japanese tires in the 70s. The French bike companies put almost everything French on their bikes except their highest end bikes. They would put Campy on. Even Peugeot would. Peugeot put almost everything French on all their bikes for a long time. But then again, even the Peugeots that had Campy on them usually weren't, like I was talking about Mercier earlier and Barry Hoban. Even the high end race bikes, a lot of times, like even Peugeot's factory team were riding Italian bikes with the Peugeot decals on them. So, or decals, as the British would say. But yeah. Yeah, Rick, so the polls show up in YouTube's homepage feed. I was asking Erin tonight about this. I was like, "Do you see my polls?" She's like, "Yeah, I voted them." I'm like, "Okay," because I found that I use YouTube like as a tiny percentage of the way people use YouTube. I almost always go to my subscription feed, and I'm only watching the channels I'm subscribed to. From the analytics and research I've done, like people go to their YouTube homepage, and so it has to either be on mobile or desktop really to see the polls, and you have to kind of scroll through a homepage. And even if you're subscribed to me, it might not necessarily show you mine. I get some that aren't even from my subscription, so it's all algorithm stuff. It's like looking at, yeah, just typical algorithm stuff. So Pudgy, were you asking if I ride the Trek outside of winter? Well, since you gave me the spin wheels, that was the goal with the Surly corner bars to be able to swap the spin wheels back over and have a bike that has like the kind of bars I like. So yeah, my goal, and I just didn't do it much this summer with the way and fall, the way the weather went. My goal is to be able to ride the Trek as like an actual like kind of drop bar mountain bike next year. So it'd be the bike I want to take to East Rim and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Patrick, your bikes are all season bikes, of course. Shorts gang, yeah. Pudgy, I know you've got a bit of insulation, but I've always like, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean, you made your name Pudgy, but isn't skin still skin? Like when you're commuting, like, and I know your commute's also fairly short, but like today I was putting a new battery in my car, and I'm like, I even had to just wear my gloves to have my hands outside. Like even though I'm working, like I do not understand that. Yeah. Oh, Patrick, you don't see the polls either. Yeah, it really is like like I said, it's a YouTube algorithm thing. So I was pulling them into the Discord for a while. Maybe I should go back to doing that because your guys' votes should be weighted. People who actually engage with the live streams and the channel. So maybe I need to start doing that again. Maybe just I'll do it in the live stream section. I'll because it lets me grab a link to the polls. Yeah. So I'll grab a link, and then if you guys are interested, you could click over and click on them because it would give me a much better indication of what, you know, because even like the temperature one has 90 votes, but the channel has almost 3,000 subscribers. So it's still a small, you know, sample size of even the channel. Nathan's saying the pros have all kinds of secrets about storage of the tubies as well. Lance would store them in his basement to age them and give them high humidity environment. Interesting. Interesting, Nathan. I know like leather saddles used to be like that. Like Yonda was telling me how like some bike mechanics, the pros would have them take the leather cover off of their like racing leather saddles and like soak them in wine for a while before then have them re-rivet them to the frame of the saddle and all, just all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, Pudgy, it's hard being this cool. Hard being that cold, I think is the word you're looking for. Yeah, Pudgy's got the Maine maple syrup blood where it's even colder out there. I guess. Yeah. I just, whenever I see someone like walking or riding in shorts in winter, I'm still like, skin is skin, isn't it? Like, I mean, I get that it's no doubt that like, you know, someone who's like, well, I'm not skin and bones right here. I got a nice little beer belly going on, but I at 43. But like, yeah, like there's no insulation here. I'm just tall and skinny. But I still feel like skin would be cold no matter what. Like, I could see how if you're thicker, like, you know, you're going to have more insulation for your core. But I don't understand how skin doesn't just freeze. Like, well, the one day you were riding, well, today was you and Dylan, right? Wasn't it the same as it was here? Wasn't it down in the teens in the morning? I think it was. Summit Perry said it was 8 degrees when he woke up to commute to work this morning. So, oh, it's after 11. No wonder I already went through this beer. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Because I do want to get up and work on more stuff tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, I'll be filming on this bike tomorrow. I'm gonna go take it for a ride too. I left my stupid on Funny Brad's birthday. I left my credit card at Madcap Brewing out in Kent, so I have to ride out there. I don't think it's gonna get into the 40s, so I shouldn't have to worry about any ice on the 32 mil. Or these are 30 millimeter tires on this bike. What is that noise? That's a noise I've never heard before down here. But oh, it's my fridge. Yeah, hopefully that's not going. Um, yeah, so whatever. Wherever I was going with that. Gonna film a video about that bike tomorrow. Thursday, Party Size Cycling is gonna be live on the stream. Newer member. He was at Nutmeg. We actually didn't meet at Nutmeg, but we connected on social media and YouTube because of Nutmeg. He's been in the chat. He makes really cool steel is real stickers, and I know Pudgy just got some of his stickers in the mail today that he posted on Instagram. So we're gonna try and go live with a cyclist from New Jersey and talk about what he's up to. So yeah, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Yeah, we could keep the chat, but this is a great chat tonight. Thanks, Michael Musgrave. He was saying it was a good chat tonight. Yeah, I thought so. Random. That's how it usually works when they're the best. If I have to think about it too much, nothing's going on. When you guys are the ones driving the conversation is when I think we have a lot of fun. So, yeah, it was weird talking about bikes. We went down the vintage alley, so you know you guys are right up my alley. The stuff I know about. Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Oh, Patrick, you got the party size cap. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. The nerdery was strong tonight, which is what drives this channel. So, all right, dudes. Thanks as always. Good time. And I will, yeah, see you on Thursday with party size. This is a peace symbol.
See myself on your YouTube.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.
In the awful way, holiday, holiday today, and all I want to say, holiday, holiday today. You catch the first train home, drives to be alone, yeah, and all I want to do is to get with you. Hey, the awful way, holiday, holiday today, and all I want to say, holiday, holiday today. You catch the